in calculating the density or determining the density of aluminum, you first have your experimental data. So this video is in the second tab of the measurements lab. So you should collect the data, the mass of the empty beaker and the mass of the beaker with the pellets. That's the information from the electronic balance. Make sure you turn on the captions so that you can see you can confirm the number values that are shown on the screen. And then this electronic balance measures in grams, and it should be 3 decimal places out. Okay. Then you have the volume of water in the cylinder before you add the pellets, then after. This is using a graduated cylinder. And the graduated cylinder units measures in milliliters. Okay, so that's milliliters, writing that out. And that's units of volume or liters. Okay, so you can determine the volume of the pellets by difference. Okay, and that's actually on the next page, is determining the mass of the pellets also by difference and the volume of the pellets by difference. So let's turn to that next page. So the measurement values, the mass of the empty beaker and the mass of the beaker of pellets by difference. To show your work, you would have, this is the mass of the beaker with the pellets is your final mass, and the mass of the empty beaker is your initial mass. So this is not an equation you'll find, but the mass of the pellets is just mass by difference. Okay, so that is the final mass that's from your experimental data table minus the initial mass. And you should note that this is a subtraction, so you need to look at decimal places when you do this calculation. Okay. So the measurement values for the to find out the volume of the pellets, also by difference. So the volume of the pellets, this is going to be the final volume, the V final, minus the initial volume. Okay, and so this should be in units of milliliters. That's from the previous data table. And also this is by difference, so this is a subtraction, so you should still be looking at decimal places for the answer that you get from that calculation. And then you're going to use those values for mass and volume to calculate the density of aluminum. So your density is the symbol D, and this is mass over volume. Okay, that equation is in the lab procedure, but you are going to use, this is your mass that you're going to use. This is your volume that you're going to use, and they're going down into this equation here. Density is mass over volume. So you're going to want to make sure you show your work, and now your final answer should be rounded to the correct sig figs. So use the sig figs from the mass above and the volume above, and you need to use the least amount of sig figs, the lowest sig figs for either mass or volume.